You know, today it's pretty common for a word to draw ire or anger, but equally, like a word can take a new meaning before you ever get to like catch wind of its new meaning. So I like to beat the curve. I create the word before anybody else can. Like raw dog. You guys know what raw dog is, right? It's not common, like the energy. But it's also what you say when someone says how to use a cookie dough. Raw dog. And Bitmoji. Thank you. You guys know what Bitmoji is, right? The more realistic emoji you can send somebody. But it's also, whenever the server comes by and says he wants more drink, appropriate answer. Sure, Bitmoji. And propaganda. We have to hear that shit. I love it. Keep doing it, please. Propaganda, we hear that shit every day, right? But it's also with the dude on meth jerking off outside of CVS screams at customers when they're exiting. Have a propaganda. Let this shit go. Alright, did you guys have a good weekend at all? Yeah, like usually like when you go into a weekend, it's a good thing to have like 2 or 3 plans. And like you're never gonna make the plan you don't want to do the first plan. That's always gonna be the shit you want to do. Which is totally appropriate, because plan B's always been more of a morning thing. Staying on that topic, abortion's pretty big right now too. If you guys don't know what that is, I'll inform you. Abortions are a lot like the McRib. Neither are good for you. Nobody wants it until it's unavailable, and ultimately a clown's gonna decide whether you can have it or not. Alright, I can go next. You know any history buffs in here? Like, I love it too. Doesn't matter if it's learning about it, trying to make it, or rapidly deleting it from the internet. But I learned earlier this year, Nancy Reagan in her youth was quite a little head monster. Like, she was blowing half of Hollywood. In fact, Gone with the Wind was inspired by one of her blowjobs. What I'm trying to tell you folks is Nancy Reagan knew her way around the cock like Jenny knew her way around the block. And I'm pretty sure Ron's like, well, Nancy, I'm trying to tell these people to just say no, but you're not doing it for the dick. But maybe they like co-opted, made it a team thing. Like, how do we know the Berlin Wall didn't go down? Because behind the scenes, he was like, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down those drums. And I'm pretty sure he hated crack so much because that's all that ever fancied him when Nancy asked him about it. But you know, I did a deep dive and I figured out in '68 he ran against Nixon in the Republican primary and lost. Nixon would go on to be the president, and then ultimately the Washington Post would get him out with the Watergate scandal. But it got me thinking, were the Reagans so mad about that loss? Did they leak that story to the Washington Post? You guys, was Nancy Reagan deep throat? If she was, give her a round of applause. Single-handedly, the biggest dick she ever took down. And I'll end on this. Like, I like going around to different mics. Like, I went out to Cincinnati to the Hub. I went out to Austin, tried to go on Kill Tony. But the one theme that I noticed is everywhere you go, there's a different degree of homeless. Like Indiana, we got the Rick from Pawn Stars, but he works in reverse. He's like, man, can I get $1? I'm like, I don't have $1. Okay, you got 50 cents? I'm like, dude, I don't have any money. I'll give you a cigarette. God bless you. And cigarette, that's the currency of the Cincinnati homeless. And again, for with party with one. But when you give somebody in Cincinnati a cigarette, it's like throwing a cracker out to a duck. Because all of a sudden, 20 of them come out. They're sort of a home, but not a friends. So next time I go, loose tobacco is going with me. In Austin, that's the fucking final level. Like, you'll see a guy in the middle of 6th Street at like 10 o'clock at night yelling at you to get the fuck out of the way. Totally acceptable, happens everywhere. Odd thing is, he's in an inflatable raft. Now, when you come across a man that's so mentally ill, he's directing traffic in an inflatable raft, which I know if he's in Dallas, he'd be ahead of the curve right now. But this is Austin. But you lose that battle 9 times out of 10, unless you're Kimbo Slice. Since I got like 30 seconds, I'll do one more. You know, early in the year, there was a push by pedophiles to try to rebrand themselves as mats. Minor attracted people, people attracted to minors. Now, if you didn't hear about that, that's how quickly we as America were like, we're good, homie. But you know what? I'm okay with that name brand change. Because now when we go to hunt down a pedophile, we're going on a map quest. Yeah! Give it up for Twitter.